Hello, Mystifiers. Today we will be doing something a little bit different. With the rapid evolution of AI, we're going to have four AI bots write a ghost story, and then we're going to compare how different they are in the overall thoughts of these stories. But before we get into these stories, if you like the paranormal, urban legends, and anything mysterious, well, then you came to the right place because that is the main thing I focus on. But with that, let's get into these stories. The first story is going to be written by the Copilot AI bot, and that is from Microsoft. The Haunting of Hollowwood Manor. Once nestled deep within the ancient woods stood Hollowwood Manor, its time-worn facade exuded an eerie charm, and local whispered of its tragic history. The manor had seen generations come and go, but its secrets remained locked within its decaying walls. Chapter 1. The Invitation. On a moonless night, a letter arrived at the doorstep of Evelyn Sinclair, a young scholar with a penchant for unraveling mysteries. The parchment bore the manor's insignia, an owl perched atop a twisted oak tree. The invitation was cryptic. Dear Miss Sinclair, you are cordially invited to Hollowwood Manor. Come seek answers. Sincerely, the ghost of yore. Chapter 2. The Arrival. Evelyn's curiosity outweighed her fear. She packed her satchel with candles, a worn journal, and a silver locket, a keepsake from her late mother. The journey through the dense forest was treacherous, and the wind whispered secrets as she approached the manor. Chapter 3. The Haunted Halls. The manor's grand doors creaked open, revealing a dimly lit foyer. Dust danced in the moonbeams, and portraits of long-dead ancestors stared down with hollow eyes. Evelyn's footsteps echoed as she explored room after room. The library with its ancient tombs, the ballroom where phantom waltzes played, and the nursery where a spectral child wept. Chapter 4. The Lady in White. In the moonlit garden, Evelyn encountered the Lady in White. Her gown flowed like mist, and her eyes held centuries of sorrow. Why are you here? The lady whispered. To uncover the truth, Evelyn replied. The lady's laughter echoed, chilling Evelyn to her core. Chapter 5. The Forgotten Love. As nights turned into weeks, Evelyn delved deeper. She discovered letters hidden in the attic, a forbidden love affair between Isabel Hollowwood and a stable boy named Lucian. Their love was doomed, and their souls bound to the manor. Their whispers echoed through the halls, and Evelyn vowed to set them free. Chapter 6. The Seance. On the eve of the full moon, Evelyn gathered candles in the ballroom. She recited incantations calling forth the spirits. The room trembled and the air thickened. Isabel and Lucian materialized, their love stronger than death. They pleaded for release, their fingers grazing Evelyn's skin. Chapter 7. The Sacrifice. To break the curse, Evelyn had to choose sacrifice her own life or bind her soul to the manor. She hesitated, torn between love and duty. The clock struck midnight, and the manor groaned, and in a desperate act, she whispered, "Take me." Chapter 8. The Eternal Night. Evelyn became part of Hollowwood Manor, a phantom forever bound. She wanders its halls, penning her tale in the same journal she carried. The Lady in White weeps, and Isabel and Lucian dance their spectral waltz. Visitors still receive invitations, and the manor waits a timeless enigma. And so ends our tale, dear listeners. Remember, should you ever receive an invitation to Hollowwood Manor, tread carefully. For within its walls, love and loss intertwine, and the echoes of the past linger like whispers in the wind. And that was a ghost story written by the Copilot AI bot. Next up, we are going to be taking a look at probably the most famous AI bot, and that's ChatGPT. So let's see what kind of ghost story that wrote real quick. This is called, well, it actually didn't give me a title. So we're just going to go into what it wrote, but it did not give me a title for the ChatGPT one. In the heart of a dense, dark forest, there stood an ancient, dilapidated mansion known as Blackwood Manor. The locals whispered tales of its cursed past, warning travelers to steer clear of the haunted halls. But one fateful night, a group of curious adventurers decided to test their courage and explore the mansion's secrets. As they ventured into the decrepit mansion, the air grew colder and the atmosphere weighed heavily upon them. Cobwebs hung like vials, and shadows danced in the dim candlelight they carried. The creaking floors echoed with each step, as if the house itself whispered warnings of danger. In the grand foyer, a portrait caught their attention. It depicted a young woman with sorrowful eyes, her gaze seeming to follow their every move. The adventurers felt a chill run down their spine as they realized the painting bore a striking resemblance to one of their own. Undeterred, they pressed on, their curiosity driving them deeper into the mansion's mysteries. They wandered through forgotten corridors and hidden passages, each step leading them closer to the heart of darkness that lurked within. As midnight approached, they found themselves in a vast cobweb-covered ballroom. The air grew thick with an overwhelming presence, and a sense of dread enveloped them. Suddenly, the candles flickered and died, plunging the room into darkness. In the pitch-black silence, they heard a soft, mournful melody drifting through the air. It was a haunting sound of a music box playing a melody from the bygone era. With trembling hands, they searched for the source of the music, their hearts pounding in their chest. At last, they stumbled upon a small, ornate music box sitting atop a dusty grand piano. Its lid opened of its own accord, revealing a delicate figure spinning in the darkness. As they listened to the eerie melody, a voice whispered from the shadows, telling a tale of love and betrayal, of a young woman wronged and vengeful in death. Suddenly, the room was filled with a ghostly apparition. The woman from the portrait, her eyes blazing with fury. She reached out to them with spectral hands, her voice a chilling echo in their minds. They tried to flee, but the doors and windows were sealed shut, trapping them in the mansion's grasp. With each passing moment, the mansion seemed to come alive, its walls shifting and changing like a living, breathing entity. The adventurers were lost in a maze of nightmares, pursued by vengeful spirits and tormented souls. Some say they never escaped Blackwood Manor, doomed to wander its halls for eternity. Others claim they were driven mad by the horrors they witnessed, their minds forever haunted by the specters of the past. But one thing is certain, the legend of Blackwood Manor lives on. A cautionary tale for those who dare to seek out the secrets of the dead. I hope you enjoyed the spine-tingling tale. And that was the ghost story written by ChatGPT. Next up, we're going to be taking a look at Google's AI known as Gemini. This one, once again, does not have a title, and it's, we'll just get into it. The Blackwood Manor loomed on the windswept cliffside, a silhouette of a cracked grandeur against the storm sky. I, Amelia, had foolishly romanticized it. A weekend getaway with friends, a chance to explore the rumored hauntings. Now with the power flickering and the wind howling like a banshee, romance was the furthest thing from my mind. The strangeness started subtly. Doors creaked open on their own, whispers seemed to echo from empty hallways, and shadows danced with unsettling life of their own. My friends, a boisterous bunch, initially grew pale and withdrawn. One by one, they claimed illness and retreated to their rooms, leaving me alone with their growing unease. One night, as I lay in bed, a low, mournful melody drifted up from the floor below. Curiosity overcoming fear, I crept downstairs, the floorboards groaning beneath my bare feet. The music led me to the grand ballroom, a place of faded elegance surrounded in dust sheets. In the center, a lone figure waltzed, a woman in a tattered gown, her back to me. As I called out, the music stopped. The woman turned slowly, revealing a face etched with sorrow, her eyes hollow pools of despair. A scream tore from my throat. The woman's gown was stained in a sticky brown, and a jagged wound marred her throat. She vanished before my scream subsided, leaving only a chilling silence. Panic gnawed at me. I raced back to my room, barricading the door with furniture. Sleep wouldn't come. Every creak, every groan sent shivers down my spine. Then I heard it. A soft scratching at the window. Moonlight revealing long, pale fingers clawing at the glass. The nails leaving streaks that glowed faintly in the dark. The next morning, my friends were gone. The caretaker, a wise old man, looked unsurprised at my frantic questions. "The lady," he rasped. "She claims those disturbing her peace." He spoke of a young heiress betrayed and murdered in the manor. her restless spirit forever bound to the place of her demise. Desperate, I researched the Blackwood history. I found a dusty diary detailing the Iris' final days, filled with chilling descriptions of a controlling fiancé and a growing sense of dread. The last entry spoke of a planned escape, a rendezvous by the cliffs with a mysterious lover. The truth hit me like a blow. The woman in the windows wasn't seeking revenge. She was searching. Falling a hunch, I ventured to the cliffside, the wind wisping at my hair. Half buried in the sand, I found a locket engraved with the initials of the Iris and her love. That night, I returned to the ballroom, clutching the locket. As the spectral music began, I held the locket aloft. "She's searching for him," I cried out to the empty room. The music faltered, then stopped. The air grew heavy, charged with a strange energy. A figure materialized before me. The lady, her face etched with a desperate hope. I placed the locket in her spectral hand. A single tear shimmering like moonlight rolled down her cheek. Then with a soft sigh, she faded away, replaced by a gentle breeze that carried the faint scent of jasmine, her favorite perfume. The wind outside calmed and the flickering lights steadied. The Blackwood Manor remained a moment to a tragic past, but the oppressive feeling was gone. I left the next morning, the weight of the experience heavy on my heart. The Blackwood Manor held no ghost anymore, only a heartbreaking story waiting to be told. That was the story by Google's Gemini, and the final story is going to be written by an AI called Deep AI. Once there was a sprawling old mansion on the outskirts of a small town, said to be haunted by the restless spirit of a woman who had died tragically with its walls. The townspeople whispered rumors of strange noises in the night, flickering shadows in the halls, and a chilling presence that could be felt by all who dared to set foot inside. One stormy night, a group of adventurous friends decided to investigate the mansion for themselves. Armed with only flashlights and nerves of steel, they made their way through the overgrown gardens and creaking front door, prepared to face whatever horrors awaited them. As they explored the dark and decaying rooms, they heard whispers in the shadows and felt icy fingers brush against their skin. Doors slammed shut behind them, and the furniture moved on its own accord. They were certain they were not alone in the mansion, and the ghostly presence was growing stronger with each passing moment. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream echoed through the halls, and the friends found themselves trapped in a room with no way out. The ghostly figure of a woman materialized before them, her eyes glowing with malevolent intent. She spoke in a voice that chilled them to the bone, recounting the tragic events that had led to her death and vowing vengeance on all who dared to disturb her eternal rest. Terrified, the friends tried to flee, but the doors were locked tight and the windows barred. The ghostly woman advanced on them, her spectral form growing ever more menacing. Just as all hope seemed lost, one of the friends remembered an old family heirloom they had brought with them, a locket that had belonged to the woman in life. With trembling hands, they presented the locket to the ghostly figure, who paused in her advance and stared at it in shock. The locket contained a faded photograph of her lost love, the man who had betrayed and abandoned her, leading to her tragic demise. In the moment, the ghostly woman's anger melted away, replaced by a sense of profound sadness and longing. She disappeared into the ether, leaving the friends alone in the room, shaken but unharmed. As they made their way back through the mansion and out into the stormy night, they couldn't shake the feeling that the ghostly woman's spirit was finally at peace, her tragic story finally told, and her vengeance finally laid to rest. And so the mansion remained, a silent and brooding monument to the past, its ghostly inhabitant finally finding peace in the afterlife. To this day, those who dare to venture too close can still feel a chill in the air and hear the echoes of a ghostly whisper, a reminder of the tragic tale that dwells within its walls. Alright guys, that was the story by Deep AI. And let's talk about these real quick. Overall, they're all pretty much similar. Like, they all have the same storyline. There's a mansion on the hill. There's a mansion somewhere. There's a lady in there that had a love. And then they died. And then, oh my. So, yeah, and they all pretty much have some resolve where somebody... So they all have it where it's kind of like, most of them have an ending where the ghost finds peace by like a locket. That's the main thing I was found of a picture of their love, and then there was some peace at the end of it. So overall, I mean, the AI stories are very similar overall. The only one that was different, I would say, was the co-pilot one, where it talks about how the person actually got trapped there and they were stuck wandering the halls. So, I mean, that is really like the only difference that I've seen in most of these. So, I mean, the AI could have spiced it up a little bit, but I guess I gave it to the same search result. So, can't expect that much from AI, I guess, yet. So, but on all these, since they are very similar, the one that was really different is the Copilot one. So, I'll probably say that's probably the best one for me. Let me know, guys, in the comments what one you think was the best story out of all of them. And with that, that will do it for today's video, guys. If you liked it, feel free to leave a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. And with that, I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.